Comfort is seductive. It whispers promises of safety, of ease, of a life without resistance. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because the more we wrap ourselves in comfort, the further we drift from greatness. Look around, every person you admire, every story that inspires you, every legend that history remembers, none of them were born from comfort. They were forged in discomfort, in struggle, in the fire of difficult choices. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. It makes you settle for good enough when you were built for extraordinary. Think about it, the human mind and body grow only through resistance. Muscles grow when they are torn and rebuilt. Minds expand when they wrestle with problems that seem unsolvable. Spirit strengthens when it endures hardship. Yet most people run from resistance. They chase pleasure, distraction, convenience, never realizing that by protecting themselves from difficulty, they are also protecting themselves from transformation. Greatness demands that you step into discomfort willingly. It demands that you do the things you don't want to do, when you don't feel like doing them, because deep down you know that's where growth is. It's in the early mornings when you'd rather sleep. It's in the hard conversations you'd rather avoid. It's in the lonely hours of practice that no one sees, and in the sacrifices that no one applauds. You cannot hold on to comfort and expect to grasp greatness at the same time. One will always slip away. So the choice is clear: do you cling to comfort, or do you step into the discomfort that shapes legends? Because in the end, comfort will give you nothing but regret. Discomfort, if you dare to embrace it, will give you greatness. Pain is the price tag attached to every dream. We live in a culture that glorifies success but hides the suffering it demands. People see the medals, the applause, the victories, but they never see the nights of doubt, the failures that sting, the silent battles fought in the dark. Yet without pain, there is no progress. Pain is the currency of transformation, and you cannot cheat the system. If you want a life that matters, you must be willing to pay in full. The truth is, pain is not your enemy. Pain is proof that you are moving, that you are stretching beyond what you once thought possible. Every rejection toughens your resolve. Every failure sharpens your vision. Every heartbreak deepens your capacity for resilience. Avoiding pain is the quickest way to guarantee mediocrity. It's the reason so many live shallow lives. They refuse to carry the weight that greatness demands. Think about the strongest people you know. Not the loudest, not the richest, but the strongest. I guarantee their strength was born from pain. Because pain burns away weakness. It strips you down until there is nothing left but the raw, unshakable core of who you really are. And that is where greatness begins. So instead of asking, how do I avoid pain, ask, what pain am I willing to endure for the life I want? Because the pain of discipline, of sacrifice, of relentless pursuit, that pain is temporary. But the pain of regret lasts forever. And when you stand in front of the mirror years from now, you will know exactly which pain you chose. One leads to greatness. The other leads to nothing. One of the hardest truths about greatness is that it often requires walking a path that few will understand. When you commit to a vision that burns inside you, you'll quickly realize that not everyone shares that fire. Friends may question your choices, family may worry about your sacrifices, and society may label you as unrealistic or obsessed. That isolation can feel heavy, but it's also a necessary part of the journey. Because the road to greatness is not a crowded highway, it is a narrow trail carved by those willing to endure solitude in pursuit of something bigger than themselves. Isolation has a strange power. At first, it feels like emptiness, a void where the noise of validation disappears. But in that silence, clarity is born. You begin to hear your own voice without distortion, to reconnect with the vision that others can't see. It's in those lonely hours, away from applause and distraction, that the strongest foundations are built. Solitude is not punishment, it is the training ground where your character is tested and refined. History is filled with examples of individuals who walked alone long before the world celebrated them. Every revolutionary thinker, every artist, every leader who changed the course of humanity endured seasons of misunderstanding and rejection. They weren't isolated because they were wrong, they were isolated because they were ahead. So if you feel alone in your pursuit, don't let it discourage you, let it affirm you. The loneliness is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are on the right path, the rare path, the one few have the courage to follow. And remember, the crowd gathers only when the vision becomes reality. Until then, your silence is your sanctuary. Greatness is not defined by one big moment, it is built in the countless small moments when no one is watching. People often believe success arrives in a single breakthrough, a sudden stroke of luck, or one extraordinary performance. But that is an illusion. The truth is, greatness is the accumulation of relentless consistency. It is the daily commitment to show up, to do the work, to push forward even when motivation fades and results feel distant. Consistency is the bridge between dreams and reality. Talent may give you a head start, but without discipline, talent collapses. Inspiration may spark action, but without repetition, it burns out. What separates those who achieve greatness from those who don't is not genius, it's the simple, unshakable habit of showing up day after day, regardless of mood, regardless of obstacles, regardless of how far the finish line seems. Every act of consistency, no matter how small, compounds over time. One page written becomes a book. One workout becomes strength. One disciplined choice becomes a lifestyle. The world may not notice your effort at first, but the invisible weight of consistency is always building, always stacking, until the day comes when the results are undeniable. The cost of greatness is not paid in a single lump sum, it is paid in daily installments of discipline, sacrifice, and patience. And while the payment is hard, the reward is priceless. Because consistency doesn't just change what you achieve, it changes who you become. So the question is not whether you can achieve greatness. The real question is, can you keep showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is clapping? Because that is where greatness is born. And when you master consistency, greatness becomes inevitable.